Why do I always swing when I start? I really just realized that. Like, nope, this feels weird. I can't do. Okay, here we go. I really always
Hey
swing towards the mic
everybody.
when I start. Well, now I can't not do it that I've talked about it. All right. Well. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the DLF Trade Show, the awesomest show on the DLF YouTube channel and on my heart.
That's most important, Russ.
Most important. January 1 QB ADP just dropped, and we decided to take a look at it, find out some players who were overvalued, who were undervalued, and then Addison does his jam, Trade Finder, Trade Analyzer. We find some stuff to talk about. So this week we are doing undervalued players from January ADP. And this first one is one I think we all would have seen coming. You know, combination of age and injury and age and injury and
Injury to quarterback.
yeah, I was working on that. I was teasing. I was drawing it out. You're just messing with my. I don't know how I work like
coach
this.
not being there.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we're talking about Cooper Kupp. I really wish you wrote them down on this sheet, which you didn't, but I believe Cooper Kupp was wide receiver 26.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That.
We don't even have the rookies in here yet. So next month for February ADP, assuming his actual value doesn't change, he's going to drop what? 5-6 spots? Put him into the wide receiver 30s? It's Cooper freaking Kupp on a bad year. He's wide receiver 12 to 14. I mean, let's see some trades. Let's talk about this and see if it is reflected in trades. The first one we have is a 12-team Superflex league where Kyler Murray, Cooper Kupp, and Rondale Moore, gotta love that Kyler Murray, Rondale Moore stack. 4, Tyreek Hill, Kirk Cousins, and Alvin Kamara. Kyler at 671.8, which again is a little low. Cooper Kupp at 420, Rondale Moore at 100 for a total of 1192. Tyreek at 630, so pretty much Kyler for Tyreek. That doesn't feel right. Like Tyreek is probably what? Oh, his ADP is right here. 22. I was going to say like end of the second. Kyler Murray at the end of the second? That's...
No.
Kirk Cousins, 360. Alvin Kamara still at 282 for a total of 1272. So this analyzer has it steadily the Tyreek Hill side. This is like free Cooper Kupp.
Dude, it's so ridiculous how I think people still just downplay the Kyler, like the amount of jokes. I'm so sick of these freaking Kyler Murray jokes of like, oh, Call of Duty and oh, he's gonna judge a FaZe Clan and like he doesn't study and like he's an NFL professional quarterback. You don't just get there on talent. You got to still put in the work.
When you get there just on talent, you're Jamarcus Russell. That is most of you people listening, just go look it up.
Clearly, Kyler Murray is not Jamarcus Russell because he's been not only in the league for 4 years now, but he has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league for every single year since he entered in 2019. He has finished as a top 10 quarterback in points per game, and he was top 10 in two out of three of the years in like just total points. So scrap the points per game. The points per game argument fits for this year because he was hurt and missed a few games. When healthy, Kyler Murray is one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in fantasy, you know, just because of the rushing upside. He's still a really good passer. He was doing that with and without DeAndre Hopkins. I know Hopkins is probably going to get traded, but he's still going to have Hollywood. He's going to have Rondale Moore.
Real good
James
with
Conner to throw to. Zach Ertz, Trey McBride. You know, they could draft somebody as well to replace DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray is massively undervalued, so I love getting him. I love getting Cooper Kupp, obviously, because he's Cooper Kupp. Wide receiver 26 is insane. Dude was a top 5 fantasy wide receiver at worst. He was wide receiver 1 in points per game this year. And I like Rondale Moore. Everybody else on the other side, like Alvin Kamara is not 280 points. Like he needs to lose a lot of that value because he's declining quickly. Tyreek Hill, I like. I think he's the best asset on that side, easily by far. Should certainly be in the conversation when you're comparing him up there with Kyler and Cooper Kupp. Kirk Cousins is just kind of Kirk Cousins. We know what he is. And his value is never going to rise or really drastically fall. He is. I'll take Kyler Murray and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. Next trade is a 12-team 1-quarterback league where we have Cooper Kupp for the 110 and Chase Claypool. Cooper Kupp 545.1. The other side, the 110 is 292.5. Chase Claypool, for some reason, is still 116.9 for a total of 409.4. So we're talking 136 point difference. I don't know off the top of my head if I could name who the 10th rookie will be in a 1 QB draft.
Probably a quarterback.
That's rough. I mean, we're talking. Okay, Bijan.
Yep.
JSN, Addison. Hyatt's probably going to go because
Johnson's up there.
Quentin Johnson declared. Thank you.
Then you'll have Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker's my RB3, and I think he'll end up being a riser.
I want to say the name Tank Bigsby because I just like saying that name.
He's in there.
I don't care. Leave me alone.
If he's drafted in the first round, people are going to put Michael Mayer in the first round.
Especially if you're in a tight end premium, it's going to happen. All right, so that's 9. So
now we're in quarterback territory.
I get it. Cooper Kupp right now is not a sexy name. He, again, 29, will be 30 by the time the season starts. On a team that did not do well, has a lot of question marks going on. But his name is still Cooper Kupp, and he still can play the same way as he did before. It don't matter. That's not it. That's not how you trade away aging players on your team just to get rid of age. Like there's I know it is so hypocritical for me to say these words out loud. If this is what you're getting, be patient. Wait. It will get better.
Yeah.
It can't get not better than that. Worse. That's the word. It can't get worse than that. Like that's bad.
If you had Cooper Kupp and you're rebuilding, trying to shed him off, what are you looking to get?
All right, I need to talk in Superflex because every single league I play in is Superflex.
Are you taking him over all the rookie wide receivers?
That's exactly the line I was going to draw. Like, I need the 105 plus something. And that little bit is a young wide receiver that at least has shown promise. Like, Treylon Burks is probably...
Jerry Jeudy came to mind.
Love it. Okay, let's move on to our next player who, like I said before, is wide receiver 30, and that's Diontae Johnson. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I agree with you. Man, that offense is bad. But...
Thanks.
It can't get worse. It can't. It was even getting a little better towards the end of the season. Like, Najee started to look good for a while. And Pickett is what Pickett is. They like him, which means the one thing I will say about Pittsburgh is they like who they like and they stick by them.
True.
They are going to build around Pickett. Even if Pickett is not great, they are going to give him more than enough time to prove it, and they will build around him the right way to help him prove himself. Like, I greatly dislike the Steelers for many, many reasons, but it is a very well-run organization. Like, they've had like 3 coaches for as long as I've been alive. And that's not really exaggerating. That's the problem. Like, it's not that far off. You know, so I believe in that organization. I believe they're going to get better. So let's see if the trades agree with us. The first one we have is 12-team Superflex where Diontae Johnson and Isaiah Likely, oh wow, we're traded for Khalil Herbert, Nico Collins, and Cade Otton. What? Okay, Diontae Johnson 261, Isaiah Likely 31 for a total of 292. The highest valued player on this other side, Khalil Herbert, 72.2. Nico Collins, 46.8. Cade Otton, 26.7 for a total of 145.7. So fine. We cross off Likely and Otton because they're 5 points apart and they're both whatever tight ends right now. Diontae Johnson for Khalil Herbert and Nico Collins? What?
It's disrespectful out here, man.
Okay, really so Montgomery is a free agent. 19, 20, 21, yes. 22.
He is a free agent.
Always have to do math. Khalil Herbert was pretty good when Montgomery was out. Montgomery did really well. They still used him as a workhorse, which I was still confused by. Like, Herbert did well enough to earn a better role than they used him. But this seems like it's valuing Herbert almost as much as Diontae Johnson, because Nico Collins isn't adding much.
Or they believe that Nico could be the wide receiver 1 when Cooks gets traded. They add Bryce Young.
But that's a dart throw.
They also
everything you said is valued like a dart throw.
Browns pick, and then they add more receivers. Yeah.
Like there's a lot. Like that is absolutely everything you said is right. It's smart process. Get well, John Mechie, come back.
There you go.
But I don't see it. I don't get it.
Like, it's so funny whenever people in the comments will be like, "Oh, do you even watch the games? You're just box score hunting and stuff like that."
Do you even grind film, bro?
Yeah. And everybody wants George Pickens to be a thing. He makes one miraculous catch every single week. Trust me, I'm a Steelers fan. I see it every single week. George Pickens is really good at football, but that one catch is 50% of his production for the week. And Diontae Johnson's out there taking 10 targets every single week on the opposite side.
The only thing that ever impressed me on George Pickens is that block.
That block,
I was sold on George Pickens the second I saw that. I'm like, yep, Steeler. Perfect. Go.
People just want Pickens to be the alpha, and he might be physically the alpha, but numbers wise, target share wise, he is not going to reach the next level until Diontae Johnson is gone, because this offense flows through Diontae Johnson. Kenny Pickett trusts Diontae Johnson. Otherwise, he wouldn't have thrown it to him 147 times. And if that offense gets any better, if Matt Canada gets fired and they add in Byron Leftwich, which I really hope actually happens, then maybe we see Diontae Johnson becoming a Chris Godwin, and then George Pickens is kind of like Mike Evans. But you got to assume that Kenny Pickett takes that next step. I would rather have Chris Godwin than Mike Evans. I'd rather have Diontae Johnson than George Pickens. Like, that's just what I would go for. And the Diontae Johnson disrespect is really starting to bug me.
10-team, 1 quarterback. Damian Pierce, Diontae Johnson, and the 202 for DK Metcalf, Curtis Samuel, and Kenneth Gainwell. Yeah, I want DK Metcalf. Sorry. Okay, values. Damian Pierce, 284. Diontae Johnson, 275. The 202 worth 202. I just love that for some reason. I changed my mind now. I want that side because the 202 is worth 202 for a total of 762. DK at 656. Curtis Samuel, 59. Kenneth Gainwell, 25 for a total of 739. It's overpaying to get the best player in a deal, and DK is by far the best player in this deal. I would send Damian Pierce and Diontae Johnson in the 202 for DK Metcalf. I would probably try and get a later second thrown in there, like give me the 206 and let's call it a deal. But yeah, I think Metcalf is worth that. I do kind of hate the other side because Damian Pierce could easily just be lightning in a bottle. Like, the Texans, the same way we're talking about Nico Collins, they can just pour every pick into their offense. And that might be a 3rd round running back, in which case, even before the season starts, Pierce's value is in the tank because they brought someone in with somewhat equal draft capital. Because I think Pierce was in the 3rd, right? 4th. Okay, even worse if they do draft one in the 3rd. So everything I've said about Diontae Johnson stands true. I like him. I think he is worth more than he is here. I think he is better than what he's being valued at. But I just want DK Metcalf.
I don't disagree that I want DK Metcalf in here. I just think that this is a solid 3-piece to trade away DK Metcalf. I think if I wanted to make myself feel better about this, I wish Dameon Pierce was J.K. Dobbins.
Oh, yeah, that would change a lot.
They're valued very similarly in the analyzer and in ADP, which makes me think that would be a swap if those were options in a deal, right?
Dobbins was also on my undervalued list.
Yeah, so and that's why I knew that you would like that too, because if you could tell me I'm trading DK Metcalf for J.K. Dobbins, Diontae Johnson, and the 2.02. Again, this 2.02 is technically the 112 in a 12-teamer, so there is that too. So you can kind of reframe your mind that this isn't necessarily a second; it's more of a it's the latest first. Yeah. But I will say at the end of this, I do think this is a great way just to go get DK Metcalf. But
absolutely. Well. If you can send 3 somethings to go get DK Metcalf, go do that. I've been trying. Everybody in my leagues just knows how I feel, so they don't want to pay. They won't let me pay a good price. They want me to pay it. They want me to pay the price.
I think it got a little harder too because we were reminded how good DK Metcalf was in the playoff game. So
playoffs. The next one was even a little surprising for me. Jared Goff was the QB 22. This was one QB, but rankings within the position of QB probably shouldn't change too much. Clearly, Jared Goff as a very late ADP in one quarterback, but QB 22 is ridiculous.
He was QB 22 in December Superflex. So
he finished as QB 14 this year in points per game.
Yeah. You kind of knew when to play him too, which is nice because it was mainly he did so much better at home than he did on the road. So much
better at home. He was averaging, 11 or 12 points per game away, but 26 at home.
Yeah.
It was real
Ben
different.
Roethlisberger was like that too. And Drew Brees to an extent.
Oh, yes. Well, Drew Brees in an arena is money. Was money.
Yeah.
So just being valued that low seems a little crazy to me. And that offense is going to keep getting better. Jameson Williams is going to get more healthy and in football shape and get his legs back under him. They'll get a real tight end in this draft, I'm sure. Imagine if they pull Mayer, which I'm sure we'll just be saying the name Eric Ebron so many times it'll make me kind of nauseous. But that offense can get better, and he's there. And even if he magically gets cut, he played more than well enough to get a job somewhere.
Yeah. Do you think the Lions replace him? I think that's the driving factor here, is that they use that Rams pick that they got from the Stafford trade and get a quarterback.
They're pick 6. That's outside of
Young and Stroud. It would have to be Levis or Richardson, which apparently the way that people are saying the Colts feel about Levis, apparently Levis isn't going to be there. So,
and I'm having 2 firsts out inside the top 20 is a good start to trade up if they so wanted. And Chicago at the 1, they're going to have to add a few more firsts to get there, but that is absolutely possible. If they want to go get Young or Stroud, they have some of the ammo to do it. I don't know what their 24 picks look like, but they probably could if they wanted to. But that's a big bet to take that they'd be willing to do that. Okay, so let's talk about the trades where in a 12-team Superflex league, and this one's even for some reason, Jared Goff for Rachaad White, 185.8 to 183.5. Thankfully this is a video and not a podcast, so I could sit here shaking my head and it's not just silence, and so people can see me shaking my head no, what? Now don't get me wrong, Rachaad White did very well, pretty well, in the opportunities he had when Fournette was hurt, but Fournette came back and still got all of those plays. Plus, if Tom Brady's gone, what is that offense?
I think if Brady's gone, Fournette's also gone.
Well, fair enough. But like, if Kyle Trask is the quarterback, is that the running back you want on your team?
Yeah, he'd just be fine.
It'd be Dameon Pierce, which again, yeah, like he's like Addison just said, it's fine. Maybe he gives you a game or two where you feel good about it. Mm-hmm. Or you get the QB 12, 14. What did I say? 14.
Money.
Easily. Next trade. A 24 first is worth that much more than Jared Goff. If you can get Jared Goff, send to 24 first, especially if you're already competing and you have Brady as your QB2, and you could send your 24 first to go get Jared Goff, you should easily go do that.
You probably get Goff plus.
The analyzer says you should be able to. What? I need to learn to read these, then react to them. I can't help it though. A 24 first and Jared Goff for the 112 and a 212 in a 12-team Superflex league. A 24 first is worth 233.4, which is worth more than the 112, by the way. Jared Goff 185.8 for a total of 419.2. 112 worth 168.8, and the 212 for 105. This is devaluing a 24 pick and Jared Goff to barely get into this draft. This is, if you have people in your league that half pay attention on Twitter or to podcasts, and all they still have in their head is the 23 draft, do this. Because the 112 is still the end of the first, which is still, if you're lucky, 20-ish% hit rate, I think it was. Like, in a good year, like it drops. That's rough. And I got nothing. That's rough. Like a 24 first. If I had the 112 on my hands and there was no one there I really wanted, I would move to a 24 first.
Oh, so easily.
Pretty okayly. I would probably try and get a second thrown in just because I'm waiting a year and you're taking your pick now. So you try to leverage that. But yeah, like a random 24 first, even if it's from a good team, because it's stroke of luck to actually win a league. You make the playoffs, sure. If you have a good team, there's a good chance you make the playoffs. Once you hit the playoffs, it's pretty random. So there's a very large percentage that won't be the 112 next year. So yeah, time is money. So there is a little bit of devaluing in that, but even here, that might make them even. So okay, let's take the 24 first out. Like, let's take the highest valued piece in this trade out of it. Jared Goff for the 112 and the 212. I would take Jared Goff.
I would also take Jared Goff, and I feel like that's kind of a hot take at this point right now.
Because we're talking 4 QBs are probably gone. If this is a tight end premium league, even the tight end 1 will be gone by the 112. So we're talking RB 5-ish,
4-5 or wide receiver 4-5.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And the 212 factors into this 0, by the way.
It's a nice trade piece.
Exactly. 1000%. That's all it is. This is just like, okay, this will help get it done. And that's probably what happened here. And they're like, I'm giving you all of that. Just give me the 212 also.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going to offer a whole lot of trades for Jared Goff.
I was going to say, I feel like if I had the 112 right now, I'd probably hold on to it.
Yes, 1000%, because the pick will gain value up until the rookie draft. But
yeah, you get that. Plus, you see 100% confirmation that the Lions don't do draft day shenanigans. And then, so like, if this was May 1st, and you have the 112, and somebody else is Jared Goff, I'd make that trade before I even saw who was on the clock. I'd just take Jared Goff.
I want draft day shenanigans to be my ska cover band name that only covers like the NFL football theme.
Draft day shenanigans.
I like it.
Thank you.
All right. So for the first time in a long time, we have an in Russ's inbox, and it's related to the stuff we talked about. 12-team super. Okay, what's the trade addicts league? 12-team Superflex, PPR, tight end premium, DJ Moore, and the 111 for Cooper Kupp. DJ Moore, 306. The 111, 206 for a total of 512. Cooper Kupp for 419. So Analyzer has this in favor of the two piece, which we usually say you should overpay for the better piece, which is what this would be. But is it too much?
No. Nope. I would take Cooper Kupp still in this.
Now, in my overvalued section, I put DJ Moore. DJ Moore was wide receiver 14, like 16-ish. I can't remember anymore. I have it like what?
18.
And that's still a little too high for me because we've seen what DJ Moore is. At this point, are we going to say 7 years into his career, he just needs that quarterback?
Yeah. He doesn't have a ceiling. That's the he's fine.
He's fine.
He doesn't have Cooper Kupp.
That's who you put at wide receiver 26, 28. Someone who is probably going to be a solid wide receiver too, but doesn't have a ceiling. Mm-hmm. Because when you get to that point, you start putting the Christian Watsons, the younger guys who have the ceiling, but maybe have a lower floor. That's where you start ranking them. You start putting them in the late teens, early mid 20s. That's not where DJ Moore should be for me. And yeah, he's been in the league for 18 years, but it's still somehow only 25. But I feel like the answer should be Cooper Kupp.
My answer is Cooper Kupp. Is that the side you got or are getting?
I would be getting Cooper Kupp.
Are you competing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. There's your answer.
Yeah, screw it. I'm just going to go take it now.
Was that your 111?
Uh-huh.
This is one of the leagues that you
lost to Brian effing Har. Yeah, that's that one.
That's the worst.
This is the second time he's beat me in this league.
Well, now you're going to get Cooper Kupp, so you can go beat him again next year.
Funny story. I traded DJ Moore and a second for Cooper Kupp at the beginning of last season. I just remembered that.
Dang.
I'm so glad I randomly traded for my first back somehow. Yes, I'd like to accept this trade. Okay, yeah, I got Cooper Kupp on my team now.
Yeah, I don't think this is the worst trade on the other side, though. If you're trying to shed
this is
when
great.
We were talking about shedding age from Cooper Kupp, this trade, the other trade that we talked about was the 110 and Chase Claypool. This one is so much better. It's basically the same pick, but Claypool is
one quarterback.
DJ Moore is so much better. And that was one quarterback too. So this is 111, so you're going to get a better rookie. DJ Moore is infinitesimally better than Chase Claypool. This is how you trade Cooper Kupp if you're trying to make that move. And this is also how you trade for Cooper Kupp if you are looking to compete in 2023.
I'm looking to win in 2023. I am tired of this.
Bam.
Tired of this. You know what else I'm tired of? I was about to say your face and get us out of here, but I'm not tired. I could never get tired of your face. Never. I love staring into this monitor and seeing that beautiful grin just shining across my screen. But
thank you.
We've been going for a while, and I got to get back to work. DLF Trade Show on the DLF YouTube channel. Russ Fisher, Dynasty Outhouse. Addison Hayes at AmazeHayes_. Catch you next time.